Hello, verbling.com members. Welcome to another English class brought to you by the best place on the planet to learn a second language. Of course, I'm talking about none other than verbling.com. It's incredible. Every hour, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, we have native-speaking English teachers. We have an amazing variety of class teaching methods, topics, subjects, English teachers from all over. This is incredible. And the fact that with Verbling, you can connect directly, personally, with your English teachers. We all have Facebook pages where you can post your ideas and your comments and your suggestions. It's incredible. It's incredible. So, what I'd like to do is to introduce myself. Hello, my name is Geoff Watson. I am from Vancouver, Canada, but I actually don't live in my home country. I'm living in South America. I live in Santiago, Chile. And so what I'd like to do is to encourage everyone to please download the document that is posted on the website. Now, I think I've posted perhaps 2 of the documents. So there's a PDF file, which is the original transcript from the British Broadcasting Corporation. And then I think there's another document that I uploaded. I think it's called G1. Please tell me if you can find that on the verbling.com website. So all of the text, etc. And so what we're talking about is the Antarctic. And Luis has put the link, the direct link to the document in the verbling.com chat box. And so we're going to be talking about the Antarctic. So not the Arctic region in the north, but the Antarctic in the south. And so I would just like to ask people what they think should happen to the Antarctic. Many people think of that as an international area that is protected by all of the countries of the world. I believe that many countries have signed an agreement that limit all of the activities to only scientific investigation. But what if we discover, I don't know, oil there or gold there? Should we allow anybody to go there to to mine or to try and develop communities on the Antarctic? Should other countries close to the Antarctic, like the southern tip of South America, Argentina and Chile, like South Africa, like New Zealand and Australia, they're all relatively close to the Antarctic. Should they own part of the Antarctic? So that's the idea. So I'd like to start with Abdul. Do you please tell us where you're connecting from, and do you have any opinion of what the world should do with the Antarctic continent?
Hi, my name is Abdul. I'm from California. And hello, everyone. And about the Antarctica, I would say that never, ever, we should go there and, I mean, like,
yeah, start extracting the resources.
Yeah, I mean, we are already, I mean, doing, enough. We are living, already. So I mean, why should we go somewhere else and I mean, destroy the nature,
Okay. No, thank you. Thank you for your comment. And Antonio, welcome.
Hi. How are
Please,
you?
yeah, introduce yourself. I'm fine. And what's your opinion of the Antarctic?
Uh, I think I have heard that there is, in fact, a lot of uh, wealth there on the underground in
Hmm.
Antarctic, but I think it's very expensive to extract. Um, the technology today is very difficult to extract there. But I think if in the future they discover how, I don't have doubt that the human being uh, destroy the area like in other place in the world.
Okay. No, thank you. I personally, I agree with you, I guess, but yeah, thank you. Glady, hello. How are you? Hello, Glady.
Hello, Geoff. Hello, Geoff.
Welcome.
Hello, everybody. My name
So
is
please tell
Gleidian.
us.
I'm from Brazil.
Mhm.
Yes, I'm Gleidian from Brazil. And about Antarctica, in my opinion, it's a very interesting place I would like to visit one day.
Mhm. Yeah, and so what do you think of lots and lots of tourists going to the Antarctic uh, continent? Do you think that's a problem, or should we allow that?
I think it's a good thing because if I can, I'd like to visit for know a lot of kind of animals about the place. I think it's important.
Yeah, okay, excellent, thank you. And
Well,
let me see, sorry, Jose Enrique, welcome.
Hi, how are you? I don't know if you hear me. Can you hear
Yes,
me?
yes, we can hear you
Oh,
well. Please go ahead.
the, I already read the I don't know the essay about the Antarctic and the plants that grow in there. And hi everybody, I'm sorry. I think it's for the SSA that people carrying this into the place in the Antarctic,
Right,
and that's why the plants start to growing in there. It's exciting for the scientific, especially for biologists and the environment science researchers.
right.
Um, yeah, I can read really fast.
Yeah, no, great, great. So pre-reading, that's great. And yeah, that's the concept or that's the problem that we're going to talk about is how scientists and I guess tourists as well are having a
Yeah.
possible negative impact on the environment there. Good. And Korkmaz, how are you?
Thank you very much. I am good. Nice to see you again.
Yes,
And hi everybody.
welcome back.
So I'm from Turkey. I'm a student. I'm doing my PhD right now. Actually, I am not expert, but I would like to give some comment regarding the Antarctic. Uh, as my friend mentioned, it is really interesting place, and in the future, I would like to also visit this place. And I would like to point out another point, like recently, the many scientists warned people regarding their futures, which is called the global warming.
Mm-hmm.
So, because of that, as far as I know, the Antarctic is an important place because many scientists go there to measure the rate of the melting glacier, something like
Yes,
that,
glaciers.
glaciers. So,
That's how I
uh,
pronounce it. Glaciers.
yeah, so because of that, I think the many scientists should go there. I know maybe for visitors and sorry, because of the visitors and scientists, the Antarctic would this place become or could be how can I deteriorated or
Yeah, damaged.
damaged maybe, but
Mhm.
scientifically we should know a lot of information about our world, so
Yeah,
I think
great.
it is
Yeah, thank you.
normal.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
sorry.
it's too valuable the scientific information not to go there. Great. Liliana, hello, welcome.
Hi, Geoff. Thank you. I think that I really don't think that tourists should be allowed to go to Antarctic. I think there are many places out there instead to go there, because I think animals maybe they are being I don't know how to say this word, traumatized. Traumatized, and some have maybe become extinct. So
okay.
I think
yeah, traumatized is more almost hurting someone emotionally. Someone is traumatized, mean they were scared. Maybe someone who was had a crime committed to them, but a crime committed.
Maybe they are scared.
Yeah, the animals.
I mean, in dangerous. Yes.
Yeah,
If they, a lot of tourists go there to observe, for example, the penguin and seals communities.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think only if you are a scientist to study the environment there. But I think nobody care of that. So I think maybe tourists can destroy it.
Yes.
Antarctic.
They can destroy it. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Good. Lorenzo, welcome.
Thank you. Hello, teacher.
Please tell us where you're connecting from, and do you have a comment about the Antarctic area?
Well, there's so many places as an option that people want to make a tourism. Antarctic is an area very cold, and it can be damaged if many people go there. They start to travel to those area. I think it could be for scientific purpose, not for tourists. That's what I think.
All right, excellent, thank you. And Luis, welcome.
Yes, hi Geoff. Yes, I agree with my classmate here. This place, I think it's hidden an important key about how we could know about the environment around the world. So I think it's a good place for research, for the scientists to go there and try to figure out to know more about this region, this soil, this environment. But I think if the scientists discover some resources, or
some resources,
or gold, oil, something like that, I think how we know about the values of the companies, the capitalist companies have around the world, I think it would be a catastrophe, a disaster, to explore that region.
To exploit that region. Yeah, no, and go in there to try and extract whatever's there. Yeah, it seems that we need to decide now, before the ice starts melting, and before it becomes easier to go in and extract resources. That's going to happen in the north as well. Some places like Greenland, people are already thinking of the natural gas and oil deposits that they will be able to access as the climate changes and the ice melts. Yes. So let's bring up the podcast, or sorry, this is a transcript of the podcast that is regularly produced by the BBC, and I found some photographs on the with good old Google image. So we have aliens invading the Antarctic, and the penguins wearing their tuxedos, which is the idea. And so let's start reading. the transcript. And so, Abdul, could you start reading for us, please?
Sure. BBC Learning English, 6-minute English, Antarctic Aliens, 8 March 2012. Rosie, today we are going to talk about aliens invaders in the Antarctic. These aliens invaders have aliens landed on Antarctica, then they should have chosen a more exciting place to land, like London.
Please continue.
Actually, sir, accidentally
Try to scroll up, picture.
Oh, no, actually, I accidentally closed the window, so that's why.
Oh, did you? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. But I can read from the
Yeah, it's
Google.
No, they're not aliens from outer space.
Rosie, no, they are not aliens from outer space or from another planet. We are talking about aliens, plants in Antarctica. Chris, you mean plants growing in a place they shouldn't grow, outside their natural habitat?
Yeah, okay. And so this is what we're talking about. So we're not talking about aliens from outer space. We are talking about plant species that are invading the environment. Now, again, I'm no expert, but Google Image is telling me that these are native plants to the Antarctic region. And so very small, very close to the ground, growing in protected, sheltered areas. We see plants like this, similar plants like this in Canada. And up high on mountains, high altitude areas where the climate is very extreme. Okay, and so I'm going to go on to the next person. If they could read this for us, please. Antonio?
Yes, Rosie, that's right. We are going to find out more in a minute. But first, it's time for today's question. So, are you ready? I am. Right. Okay. The word Antarctica comes from ancient Greek. Does it mean A, white Arctic land, B, southernmost continent, C, opposite to the Arctic? Chris, well, I think I might go for A, white Arctic land.
Okay. All right, so that's the trivia question that they have each week. And so Antarctica, what does it mean? All right. Now, here, yeah, these are more of the native plants. So some beautiful plants, even with, it looks like small flowers. These are the kinds of plants that you can see in alpine areas. You can see using the Swiss Army knife for scale, showing the size of the plant. Okay, and so let's move on to the next person. And it is Armando. Could you read this for us, please, Armando?
Oh.
Hello, Armando.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead.
Yes, I am here. Okay, I'm not sure if this is the next.
It begins with Rosie. We'll find
Rosie.
out.
Rosie, we'll find out whether you are right or wrong at the end of the program. But first, let's talk about these alien plants. It's strange to think about Antarctica as a green continent, isn't it? Yes, I thought it was mostly covered in ice. So are you... nice. Okay. So, are you saying plants are flourishing there?
Flourishing.
Flourishing there? Do you think there may be forests there soon? Rosie, I love it, but let's listen to a report by the BBC environment correspondent, Richard Black, who tells about what's happening. What phrase does he use to mean plants have started to grow?
Okay, and I'll get you to
Maybe.
stop there, please. And
Okay.
phrase is the
Phrase.
pronunciation. All right, great.
What phrase?
Okay, and so what I'd like to do is to get the next person. Jose Enrique, could you read this for us, please? These are the words of the BBC producer. Now you need to turn on your microphone.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead.
Okay. BBC producer. The vast majority of Antarctica is covered by ice, but the bits that aren't are beginning to be covered in plants, particularly the Antarctic Peninsula, the piece that runs up towards the southern tip of South America. It's seen rapid temperature rising in recent years, which is why the plants are taking hold.
Okay, great. And so, well, here's a picture of one of the research bases in the Antarctic.
Yeah.
So, great. I'm going to move on to the next person. And
Okay.
so, Julissa, could you read this for us?
Yeah. Wait.
Rosie, so the reporter
Okay.
says,
So the reporter says that most of Antarctica is covered by ice, but there are parts which aren't. Chris: Yes, and in the bits that don't have ice, there are plants starting to grow or taking hold. This is happening mostly in the Antarctica Peninsula, which is close to the tip or the very end of South America. Rosie: And did you hear the reason he gave for these plants growing? Chris: Yes, the rise in temperature. So the continent is getting hotter, ice is melting, and the plants are growing. But where did the plants come from?
okay, great, thank you. And we're going to listen to this shortly, but let's get through reading the transcript. Korkmaz, I'm
Yes.
going to move this down for you. I've got a picture now. Here is one of the invading species, which you can see how it looks different. It looks like more like a grass,
Yes.
like a weed that
Yes.
you would see here. So it
Yes,
does
it
look
is.
really different to me.
Mhm.
I think, yeah, so please go ahead.
Rosie, well, the seeds are being brought into Antarctic, but not by the wind. They are brought in by people. Chris, so you mean people bring seeds with them and plant them in Antarctic? Rosie, no, they don't plant them. They carry them on their clothes without realizing it. Let's listen to the report which explains how scientists found this happening. How does the reporter describe the searching scientists and tourists?
Okay, great. And to find out, in past, the scientists found out that this was happening, to discover or to learn.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Fine.
Here's another one of those invading species taking hold. All right, and these are the words of the BBC producer. And so, sorry, I'm going to move on to Liliana. Could you read this for us, please?
Okay. BBC producer. Now an international research team has discovered how many of the seeds are getting there. As they describe in the journal Proceedings of the National Academy of Science, they frisked scientists and tourists visiting the white continent and found that, on average, each carry nearly 10 seeds, tucked away in boots and folds of clothing. Do I continue? Rosie.
Please.
Okay, that's incredible. Researchers frisked or searched scientists and tourists and found that on average each visitor was carrying nearly 10 seeds tucked away or hidden in their boots and clothes.
Yeah, so to tuck something away is to put it in a concealed place. hidden. Yeah, great. And so to frisk someone is to search them. This is what security people do, or police officers do when they arrest someone, is they frisk them.
Okay.
No. So to search someone very intently. And I'm going to move on to Lorenzo. Could you read this for us, please?
Okay. Chris, yes. I wonder how many seeds I'm carrying right now without realizing it. Rosie, yes. Although perhaps London isn't as green as some places the visitor travel to on their way to Antarctica. Chris, that's true. Do you hear that the producer called Antarctica the white continent? Soon it might be called the green continent. Well, the plants aren't growing everywhere, but the continent is becoming a bit greener. Plants must look beautiful amongst all the white ice.
Okay. And well, these are signs that I see in Canada along the highways where road crews are trying to remove some of the invasive plants that unfortunately are sort of carried along with cars. Okay, and so let's go on to the next bit here, Luis.
Yes. Chris, yes, but it's a huge problem and scientists aren't very happy. Antarctica has a unique ecology which needs to be protected. Let's listen to the last part of the report. See if you can hear how many seeds are brought into Antarctica every year.
Go ahead, please.
Altogether, about 70,000 seeds are being carried onto the continent each year. The researchers say that in time, these species threaten to overwhelm Antarctica's ecology just as they have on islands offshore. They are advocating tighter checks on visitors. Even then, they say increasing traffic to Antarctica combined with climate change means not all of the continent is going to stay white and pristine.
Okay, pristine. And
Pristine.
combined, combined. Yeah, and
Combined.
pristine. Yeah, and so even when are they going to bring more than just plants, maybe? And so here are the penguins, the local inhabitants, wearing their tuxedos again. All
Geoff,
right.
sorry.
Yeah.
What does pristine mean?
Pristine means perfect, virgin, absolutely clean, and in this case, original.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Pristine.
And offshore?
Yes. So these the Antarctic continent is huge, but there are offshore islands, so off the coast of the Antarctic continent. So these are offshore islands. Does that make sense? No, I'm repeating the word. The shore is the coast.
Yeah, okay.
And so the islands, the Antarctica, the Antarctic continent has many islands near it. And these have been already quite impacted by boat traffic and visitors, I guess.
So offshore is away from the shore.
Yes.
There are the islands. Okay.
Yeah. And we talk about with oil and gas exploration, we talk about offshore drilling for oil and natural gas. So this is happening in the ocean, not on land. Okay, great. So let's keep going here. And so, no, we're back to Abdul. Could you read this for us, please?
Sure. Rosie, wow, 70,000 seeds are carried into Antarctica each year. This could overwhelm Antarctica's ecology, which means it could damage it. Chris, so now they are educating tighter checks on visitors. In most places, visitors are searched for weapons or drugs, but in Antarctica, they will be searched for seeds. Rosie, that's right. Well, Chris, earlier in the program, I asked you a question, and it's time to see if you answer correctly.
Okay, good. And so does anybody know the answer, or did they know the answer?
Yes, I agree with her.
Yeah. So what is the answer?
Land, white Antarctica.
Oh, okay. All right. And any other guesses?
It's the opposite to the Arctic. I read it already.
Sorry?
It's the opposite to the Arctic.
Yeah, okay. Antifreeze, for example, is something that does not freeze. So Antarctica. Yeah. Here's a map of the continent. This is the peninsula that they're talking about. So this is the area that's starting to warm up due to climate change or global warming, and where the plants are growing. Probably some of these offshore islands here. And it's very, very close to the tip of South America, shared by Argentina and Chile. And then you have the southern tip of the African continent, I believe there is South Africa. And then you have New Zealand and Tasmania, which is part of Australia, relatively close, and some other islands close to the continent. Okay, and so let's go and see what the answer is. And if I could ask Armando, could you read this for us, please?
Sure, I am here. I asked you where the word Antarctica comes from. Was it? Why Arctic land? B. Southernmost continent. C. Opposite to the Arctic. Chris, and I say why Arctic land? Rosie, I am afraid, and I am afraid you were wrong. It was actually C. Opposite to the Arctic. And did you know that the ice sheet that covers Antarctica contains 7 million cubic miles of ice? So that's 29 million cubic kilometers. So 90% of the world's total ice is in Antarctica? Chris, wow, that's a lot.
Okay, I did not know that. So yeah, you can see what an incredibly unique environment it is. We have time for a few quick comments, please.
This is totally new information for me. I didn't know anything about this. Interesting that there are plants growing there.
Yeah. Good.
I see. I think that always we all try to destroy the environment and bringing this quantity of seeds. It's like to finish not to keep the Arctic. We are doing the opposite. We are destroying the Antarctic.
Right. It's very hard to go somewhere that's so unique and not change it just simply by going there. Right.
I have a small comment about that.
No, Korkmaz.
Okay, I have a little bit comment regarding Antarctic. Finally, people realize that we are damage our environment. Then some place like the Antarctic is the best indicator for it. So we should conserve or protect environment in such a place, and under the control we can make our investigation or research there, because we have only one planet to live.
Yeah, all right. No, and a very delicate environment. So we need to conserve and protect the environment.
I
Great.
think there is an
Someone else,
organization
please?
to protect the Antarctic now.
Yes, absolutely. Many countries have signed this agreement.
Yeah.
And a comment from someone else, please.
Jeff, what
Yeah.
is the
Yes.
opposite of equilibrium?
I'm sorry, what? Could you repeat that, Jaleesa?
What's the opposite of equilibrium?
Equilibrium? Well, it's becoming
Or
unbalanced.
balance?
Unbalanced. Yeah, it's
Yes,
going
so
to lose its
the
balance.
plants
Yeah.
maybe are, yeah.
Well, we say that some environments have a very delicate balance, and so that the environment can be thrown out of balance by the slightest problem. There's someone was wanting to make a comment. A man's voice.
Me.
Yes. Sorry. Go ahead, please, Lorenzo.
Lorenzo.
Yeah.
What I see, what I think is unbelievable is the amount of seed that is brought by people in the clothes and the boots. It's a huge amount of seed. Maybe in other area in other time they thought that it was planned by aliens. I think.
Right. Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, if they're saying 10 seeds on average and it's 70,000 seeds, that means that 7,000 people are going to the Antarctic continent each year. And so that's not many people if you think of an entire continent being visited by only 7,000 people each year. But that's the problem, is just their clothing and their bags, and they're just containing all these little seeds and perhaps insects. And yeah. Okay.
I think, Jeff,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, but I think we neglect some point. I mean,
Good.
we ignore some point. The important point is not to carrying seeds with the people. That's my opinion, because seeds there find the condition. How can I say, proper condition to be grown.
Yes, to grow.
Grow. So the main problem is that the climate is changing,
Okay.
and
Good.
atmosphere and temperature is changing. In this case, seeds which come there to find the appropriate place to grow. But this as a summary, I can say that the
but
problem is not
that
the
should
carrying
not
the
be
seeds.
happening. Good.
Well,
I totally
I am
understand
not-
you. Yeah.
Sorry, I am not sure. Maybe I couldn't explain it, but the problem is the climate changing and changing the
The global
temperature.
warming.
Right. No, great comment. I understood you perfectly. Jose
Okay.
Enrique, would you like to make a comment?
I think it's part of being irresponsible about these people, because when people decide to visit that place, I think that the research or the tourist guide, he needs to say you don't need to bring the seeds, you need to know the correct clothes, the correct I don't know what's the word, the correct backpack or something,
Yeah.
and they no carrying food or seeds or whatever,
Right.
because
Right.
it's a unique place, and
Yeah.
we need to protect this place because it's unique in all the world. But
Good.
people even don't know that.
Good. All right. So let's listen to the podcast, and we'll have some more time to make some comments after. So what I'm going to do is unplug my microphone, plug in my iPad, and my iPod. It's only an iPod, and play the podcast for you. So just give me 1 minute to get everything going.
Okay.
I'll get going as quickly as I can.
Okay, okay. We will be waiting for you. Somebody there want to speak a little?
Sorry.
Cosmas, what do you want to say?
Ah, Lorenzo, how are you? Where are you from?
You're fine. Very hot. The weather here.
Hi, Lorenzo. Hi,
Hello
Lorenzo.
and
Oh,
welcome to 6 Minute
Leliana,
I'm Rosie, and here with
how
me
are you
today
again?
is Chris. Hello, Chris.
Hi, Rosie.
Today we're going to talk about alien invaders in the Antarctic.
Alien invaders? Have aliens landed on Antarctica then? They should have chosen a more exciting place to land, like London.
No, they're not aliens from outer space or from another planet. We're talking about alien plants in Antarctica.
You mean plants growing in a place they shouldn't grow, outside their natural habitat?
That's right. We're going to find out more in a minute, but first it's time for today's question, Chris. So are you ready?
I am.
Right, okay. The word Antarctica comes from ancient Greek. Does it mean A. White Arctic land, B. Southernmost continent, or C. Opposite to the Arctic?
Well, I think I might go for A, white Arctic land.
We'll find out whether you're right or wrong at the end of the programme. But first let's talk about these alien plants. It's strange to think about Antarctica as a green continent, isn't it?
Yes, I thought it was mostly covered in ice. So are you saying plants are flourishing there? Do you think there might be forest there soon?
I doubt it. But let's listen to a report by the BBC's environment correspondent Richard Black, who talks about what's happening. What phrase does he use to mean plants have started to grow?
The vast majority of Antarctica is covered by ice, but the bits that aren't are beginning to be covered in plants, particularly the Antarctic Peninsula, the piece that runs up towards the southern tip of South America. It's seen rapid temperature rise in recent years, which is why the plants are taking hold.
So the reporter says that most of Antarctica is covered by ice, but there are parts which aren't.
Yes, and in the bits that don't have ice, there are plants starting to grow, or taking hold. This is happening mostly in the Antarctica Peninsula, which is close to the tip or the very end of South America.
And did you hear the reason he gave for these plants growing?
Yes, the rise in temperature. So the continent is getting hotter, ice is melting, and the plants are growing. But where did the plants come from?
Well, the seeds are being brought into Antarctica, but not by the wind. They're brought in by people.
So you mean people bring seeds with them and plant them in Antarctica?
No, they don't plant them. They carry them on their clothes without realising it. Let's listen to the report, which explains how scientists found out this is happening. How does the reporter describe searching scientists and tourists?
Now, an international research team has discovered how many of the seeds are getting there. As they describe in the journal Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, they frisked scientists and tourists visiting the White Continent and found that on average each is carrying nearly 10 seeds tucked away in boots and folds of clothing.
That's incredible. Researchers frisked, or searched, scientists and tourists and found that on average each visitor was carrying nearly 10 seeds tucked away or hidden in their boots and clothes.
Yes. I wonder how many seeds I'm carrying right now without realising it.
Yes, although perhaps London isn't as green as some places the visitors travel to on their way to Antarctica.
That's true. Did you hear that the producer called Antarctica the White Continent? Soon it might be called the Green Continent.
Well, the plants aren't growing everywhere, but the continent is becoming a bit greener. The plants must look beautiful amongst all that white ice.
Yes, but it's a huge problem, and scientists aren't very happy. Antarctica has a unique ecology which needs to be protected. Let's listen to the last part of the report. See if you can hear how many seeds are brought into Antarctica every year.
Altogether, about 70,000 seeds are being carried onto the continent each year. The researchers say that in time, these species threaten to overwhelm Antarctica's ecology just as they have on islands offshore. They're advocating tighter checks on visitors. Even then, they say, increasing traffic to Antarctica combined with climate change means not all of the continent is going to stay white and pristine.
Wow, 70,000 seeds are carried into Antarctica each year. This could overwhelm Antarctica's ecology, which means it could damage it.
So now they're advocating tighter checks on visitors. In most places, visitors are searched for weapons or drugs, but in Antarctica, they'll be searched for seeds.
That's right. Well, Chris, earlier in the programme, I asked you a question, and it's time to see if you answered correctly. I asked you where the word Antarctica comes from. Was it A, white Arctic land, B, southernmost continent, or C, opposite to the Arctic?
And I said white Arctic land.
And I'm afraid you were wrong. It was actually C, opposite to the Arctic. And did you know that the ice sheet that covers Antarctica contains 7 million cubic miles of ice? So that's 29 million cubic kilometres. So 90% of the world's total ice is in Antarctica.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yes, it is. Chris, could you remind us of the vocabulary we heard today?
Invader. Natural habitat.
Hey.
Southernmost. Flourishing. Tip. Frisk. Tucked away. Unique ecology. Overwhelmed.
Thank you, Chris. That's all for today, but do join us again soon for more 6-Minute English. Bye for now.
Bye.
That was 6-Minute English from bbclearningenglish.com.
Let's finish.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Sorry, thank you. All right. And so there's the podcast. And so we've got lots of time for some comments. And yes, we have a new person. Hatem, please, you need to keep your microphone muted, please. Thank you. Thank you. And so so we have time for some comments. So I'd like to start with Luis. Do you have? Would you like to start with a comment, please?
Yes. Thinking in plants growing in a place that should be ice, it's a bit scary for me. I'm very scary with this information.
Yeah,
So
you're scared about this. Yeah. Now
Yes.
I think that there are native plants, as I showed in the document, and so part of the problem is the changing climate. But there were plants there before, but these foreign plants are finding conditions that are acceptable to them, and so that they can take root and start growing. Yeah. Great. Lorenzo, a comment from you, please.
Okay, thank you. They were talking about they followed the BBC producer. They're talking about the amount of trees there is planted.
Yeah,
They
plants.
said plants. The Chris didn't know that so many plants have been brought by people, and they didn't realize that was happening in that time. 70,000 seeds have been brought every year.
Right.
That's what I said.
Yeah. No, it's a major impact. Great. Liliana, a comment from you, please.
I think the good point is how to stop the global warming.
Yes.
And I'm not sure what actions can we do to protect the Antarctic. And I think, yes, that other classmate said, it's just I think it's they have to take seats when from tourists, but I think they have to imply some rules when people come there to visit the Antarctic, and I think we can't let that this beautiful continent become polluted as the rest of the world of the
Right. Yeah, it'd be nice if we can save it and
Yes.
maintain its environment. Korkmaz, again, another comment from you, please.
Yes, actually, we discussed partially about that, but I would like to point out another issue. I think the invader plans issue is not for the Antarctic. Internationally, some seeds could be transferred or carried to, I mean, how can I say, internationally by plane or by high road or transport or something like that. So I think the invader plant issue is the global issue, is not only for the Antarctic.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree. It's a global issue. Yeah.
Yes,
And I've done. Yeah, sorry, I've done a couple of classes on that topic of invasion. Sorry, what do we say? Invading species.
Yes, invading.
Animals, plants. Yeah.
For example, between the United States and Canada, right?
Yes, but then I'm just trying to think. That's a border that many things would travel over anyways. I mean, that's a huge area that's completely connected. Animals move across that border. I'm thinking of, something that was from Southeast Asia a fish from Southeast Asia is living in Mexico now. These kinds of problems. Yeah,
Wow.
where species are transported all the way around the world or halfway around the world. Yeah, great. Julissa?
Yes, well, sometimes we think that the growing of plants is a good thing, but in this case, it's interesting to know how the growing of some invader plants can cause or create an imbalance in some ecosystems like Antarctica.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and some of these foreign species, they can just take over because there are no predators. Nothing eats them, and so they're in heaven. They can move in and grow without any kind of controls. So yeah, great. Jose Enrique, a comment from you?
Well, the first one is kind of fun because noticed that it was a British accent, and and the second one is thinking about the people. Oh, we need to be more cautious. When visiting some places like Antarctica or the jungle, etc., to bring the correct things there, like only the necessary things.
Yeah.
Because like in this case, people they don't even know they bring in seeds into the Antarctica, but for the scientists and the researchers, it's very dangerous, I think.
Yeah, we should be more careful. We should be more cautious. Yeah. Well, but I mean, I totally agree with all of you. I love protecting the environment, but these seeds are so small and they're hidden in the clothing, and so you literally have to sterilize your clothing before you go there. I mean, you should almost maybe put your clothing in a microwave oven first to kill everything before you do it. Well, these are the kinds of standards. It's like a doctor going into an operating theater. You have to literally sterilize what you're taking with you because we just don't realize that little insects and little seeds are being carried by us all the time. Armando, do you have a comment?
Yes, for me this is a big problem, but we need to begin to try to take care of our own countries. The beginning is in the house because the global warming is because all the majority of all the countries in the world don't do the work to stop this. We need to begin to stop in the house and the Antarctic and the jungle and many ecologic zones will be if we begin to make uh, to protect our own countries. That's my
Yes.
comment.
Okay. No. I totally agree, and I put on the document here a phrase: think globally, act locally. And so, if you want to save the world, you have to start by saving your own town first. So that's the idea. And so
Yeah.
I'm going to move on to Antonio. A comment, please, Antonio.
Yes, I was thinking that all these changes are more natural that we thought. For example, the global warming. Today we know that in the past there were another global warming, and the human being it isn't there. So I think
these climate changes have happened before. We know that.
Yes, perhaps the human being has accelerated this process. But process.
Speed up.
But yeah, but how we say? We are part of the nature, so we can think better. We do, but anyway, these changes are going to pass. So and the nature is changing continually.
Okay, great. Thank you for
with
your
or without us.
Good, with or without us. Okay, great. Thank you. And Abdul, could you finish our class for us?
Yes, sure. I mean, the article was very informative. I mean, very good, but like, it was so sad. The information, I mean, was very sad. And I mean, the thing is like, right now, I mean, we are, I mean, in a very bad shape. I mean, we have to privatize our priorities, like scientific research or uh, tourism or something. Like right now, our planet and our lives are in danger. So I mean, first of all, I would say that maybe some people would agree with me, some people don't, but like the way I think that all the countries should get together and put a complete ban on any kind of traffic to the Antarctica.
Yeah.
And plus, the thing is like, I understand that scientific research is important, but like we all know, I mean, 99.9% of this research is useless, and right now our lives and our Earth is in danger. So I mean, if we are here, so the scientific research is here. If we are not here, so what are we going to do with that research?
Okay.
So I mean, first of all, we have to think about ourselves and our planet, and I mean, all the countries should please, I mean, take some practical step to decrease the carbon emission, to at least, I mean, we should, put some, like something, to at least stop this situation to getting worse and worse. And from that point, I mean, we should, like, I mean, go towards the good, towards to go for the good. But at least, I mean, we should stop ourselves at certain point And I mean, I can
No,
understand today's
thank
our
you.
economy is.
Sorry, I'm going to cut you off because I'm going to end the class, but thank you so much for your opinions. I've posted some of my interpretations of what you said in the chat box. And look, I've got a great group of people here who want to talk about environmental issues. And so I've done classes on invading species and global warming and CO2 emissions, so stay tuned. So please come to my Facebook page and post very specific ideas.
Sorry,
do some
Geoff,
surfing. Yes, Liliana?
I couldn't enter to your Facebook page.
Oh no. Well, okay. Try again. I've changed it recently.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll do it again.
it's an all new Geoff Watson at verbling.com Facebook page. So it's up and running. So I need specific ideas, and I need the students to get personally involved in your English learning. Do some surfing. Send me some links. And Luis, I need you to tell me when you want to do the class about Esperanto. The language. Yeah.
Yes,
right?
yes,
So
sure.
Let's get to work and make these classes really interesting. You need to be motivated to be able to read and listen to things more than once. Read everything twice, and 3 times is even better if you really want to, develop your skills and make them fluent. So great work, everybody.
Okay.
That was
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank you so much.
See you soon.
Have a great